Why are you always broke?
We bought these, right? And these,
Yes.
and these we bought, and these.
Is it because you don't earn enough or because you spend too much?
This table, these.
Most people get this wrong. They'll blame their jobs when really it's their lifestyle choices. Or they'll cut out coffee and Netflix when the truth is they're under earning so badly it wouldn't matter if they cut everything. Today, I'm gonna walk you through 8 steps that will tell you exactly what kind of problem you have. An income problem or a spending problem, or maybe both. So if you want to figure out the problem so you can make the correct choices to solve it, make sure you watch this video till the end. Step 1, figure out your income. First, write down your monthly take-home pay. Not your salary on paper, but what actually lands in your bank account after taxes. Check your bank account statements and add up all the deposits. Do this for 6 months and take an average. You should also include other sources of income like side hustles or passive income sources. Total up all your income sources and this will be your starting point. Step 2, figure out the essentials. Go through your bank account statements again and this time add up your essential spending. These will be things that you must have for basic survival. Rent or mortgage, insurance, property taxes, utilities like heat, electricity, water, phone, and internet, groceries, household essentials, personal care, transportation like a car payment, gas, insurance, maintenance, healthcare, childcare, and minimum debt payments. If you stripped your life down to the bare bones, you'd still need to pay for these expenses every single month. Step 3, the essentials test. Now divide your essentials by your income. So if your essentials are $3,000 a month and your income is $5,000 a month, $3,000 divided by $5,000 equals 0.6, which means your essentials are 60% of your income. Now what does this mean? If your essentials take up 80% or more, you definitely got an income problem. Your income is barely affording your essentials. How are you going to afford your wants and savings? You need to increase your income. If your essentials are 50% or less of your budget, you have a spending problem. If your essentials are somewhere between 50 and 80%, it's probably a mix of an income and spending problem. Now don't get me wrong, you only have a problem if you aren't saving enough. If you are saving 20 to 30% of your income, the essentials percent doesn't matter and you don't have an income or spending problem. Step 4, figure out want spending. Next, track your lifestyle spending or want spending. This will essentially be all other spending that isn't a necessity. This will look like restaurants, coffee shops, bars, clubs, alcohol, smoking, vaping, recreational drugs, lotto tickets, gifts, concerts, subscriptions, memberships, shopping, hobbies, vacations, toys, electronics, gadgets, tools, etc. Basically, all the things you can buy that make life fun and enjoyable. To find out what you're spending on your wants, go through your bank statements again, and this time just find the total monthly spent and minus your essential spending for that month. So if that month you spent a total of $7,000 and you figured out that your essential spending was $3,000, that means your non-essential or want spending was $4,000. Now, if your want spending is less than 30% of your monthly income, you likely have an income problem. And if your want spending is more than 40% of your monthly income, you likely have a spending problem. Step 5, the savings test. Just get your monthly income and minus all your expenses. If the number is positive, you are saving money.
It's positive. It's positive. It's positive.
To find out the savings rate, just get your total savings and divide it by your monthly income times 100. So if you save $500, divide that by your monthly income of $5,000, this equals 0.1. Now times that by 100, it's 10, so 10%. But what is a good savings rate? Saving 20% of your monthly income is a benchmark for a healthy savings rate. Saving 30% or more is a more aggressive savings rate. And saving 10% is the bare minimum. If the number is negative, you're not saving anything and you're getting into debt. You need to take action. Step 6, learn your ideal budget. If you want to balance your needs and your wants and still have a good savings rate, the ideal budget is the 50-30-20 budget. 50% needs, 30% wants, and 20% savings. This budget is great for beginners who are living paycheck to paycheck and need to start saving. If you're someone with lots of debt and want to pay off debt aggressively, you'll want to reduce your needs and wants and boost up your savings rate. Well, because the savings portion goes towards paying off debt. So if you can get your needs to 45% and your wants to 20%, you can save 35% and put towards paying off your debt. If you're a high income earner, this budget won't make sense for you. Having a higher income may mean you have a more expensive lifestyle and higher quality of life, but at some point it just gets foolish. If you take home $15,000 a month, do you really need to spend $7,000 a month on needs and $4,500 on wants? The higher your income level, the higher your savings rate can be and should be. Step 7, check your benchmarks. Knowing the benchmarks and keeping your expenses within them will help you stay on budget and figure out where you may be spending too much. The first benchmark is housing. It's not recommended to spend more than 30% of your monthly income on housing. This includes rent, mortgage, property taxes, and utilities. If there's no way you can keep your housing expenses under 30%, you either need to downsize or live in a more affordable area. And if you can't do either of them, you either need to get a roommate to reduce costs, make more income, or sacrifice other things in your budget. The next benchmark is transportation. The rule is not to spend more than 15% of your monthly income on transportation. This includes car payments, gas, insurance, maintenance, and repairs. If you are spending more than 15% of your monthly income on transportation, it will be harder to have room for other important expenses. The best way to reduce this cost will be to get rid of the car payment and buy an older car with cash. These two expenses are your biggest offenders in the needs category. If you keep these in check, you'll have more room in your budget for other important expenses like debt repayment or groceries. If it's not possible to keep these expenses this low, you clearly have an income problem. If you can easily keep your housing and transportation costs under these benchmarks, but still have trouble saving, you clearly have a spending problem. I've seen this firsthand. I've worked on major construction projects where most of us on our crew were making 130 to 150 grand a year. Some fellas couldn't afford to take any time off, and some even asked to borrow money a couple days before payday. They didn't have an income problem, they had a spending problem. Big mortgages, new trucks, boats, side-by-sides, and basically whatever they wanted.
I spent all my money.
Me, on the other hand, I was only spending about 12% of my monthly income on housing and about 8% on transportation. This, and keeping my expenses low, allowed me to save around 40% of my monthly income. A couple years later, the project finished, and I had enough saved up to take a year off, invest in starting and growing a business, while the others had no choice but to follow the next big project, which was on the other side of the country. You have all this fancy stuff, but is that the life you really want to live? Step 8, match your expenses to your income. Everyone's numbers will be different because everyone has different incomes and expenses. It's suggested that someone making over $100K a year should have a savings rate of 30% or more, while someone making 80% a year should have a savings rate of 20% or more, and someone making $50K a year should have a savings rate of at least 10%. Now, because of inflation and the rising cost of living, lower income earners are having more trouble saving anything. They can reduce their expenses as much as possible, but there is a minimum needed to survive. If this sounds like you have an income problem. You can't save your way out of poverty. And if you make good money but still have trouble saving, you need to reduce your lifestyle and spend less money. It's as simple as that. Find the root of the problem and fix it. The problem is natural human behavior. As you make more money, you naturally want to spend more money. And for those who already make good money, it's hard to reduce the lifestyle you're accustomed to. But it's not impossible. So watch one of these videos on the right of screen if you want to start saving money. See you there.